Scott, thank you for taking the time. We at ATI are very honored to help support you as a partner and a supplier. And it's been an incredible couple of years for you. When you look at energy, you guys are really a leader in this space. And I'm proud that we're able to be part of that and help support the incredible growth that you're seeing.
For sure.
As you look at that energy market, how are you seeing that changing, and how are you looking at your outlook for your business, and how are you positioning it?
Yeah, I mean, Kim, at the start, thanks for asking me to do this with you. I'm happy to do it. It's a partnership and a relationship that I see a lot of growth potential. We've been talking about this for over 2 years together now, and we're starting to see it, but there's still a lot more we can do together. For Vernova broadly, I mean, if you just take a step back, about a third of the world's electricity every day is generated with our equipment through our customers. It's more than 50% of the U.S. electricity every day is generated with our equipment through our customers. And that's in a world where we've been living with reasonably flat demand the last 25 years. And that period of time is over. At the end of the day, the world needs a lot more electricity for communities to prosper and to decarbonize the energy system. Because today, the world only gets about 20% of its energy from electricity. The other 80% is still heavy fuel oils, it's still coal and industrial applications. And most people believe the proportion of the world's energy that's going to come from electricity is going to double in the next 20 to 30 years.
Okay.
That is an incredible opportunity for us together, both of our companies, but we got to earn it. We need to do things at scale. We need to limit the hobbies that we get involved in. And that's why I've enjoyed our interactions together, because our two companies together can do big things at scale that can help each other. And I like our chances there.
I agree with you. I think the demand has been so unprecedented, and I think, both of us are having to look at a lot of what we've done historically very differently to meet that demand. And I think that partnership allows us to be creative and innovative on both sides. As you think about this demand, specifically, as you mentioned, around electricity and land-based gas turbines,
Yes.
how is that changing how you're approaching that? I mean, you've got multi-year backlogs and really unprecedented demand coming.
Well, we're at a point now where we're having very strategic discussions with customers for demand through 35. And to think about that in January of 26, to be talking about volume through the middle of the next decade is a meaningful shift to where we were as recently as 2 years ago, where we were really running the business on a directionally 24 to 36 month cycle time of continually filling our backlog. Gas is critical. It's really the force multiplier that allows a lot of other technologies to also get built. You need more gas to then be able to add more solar, to add more wind, because it provides a lot of the resilience and the reliability needs that allow you to also play with these other technologies. Natural gas is generally less expensive in most parts of the world, depending on the transportation costs with LNG, to be more of an affordable solution also. So I think the world's coming back to the fact that baseload power to a very large extent is going to come from gas. In the US, that's 45% of our electricity every day. In the world, it's 25%. In both cases, it's going to grow. And because of that, we're investing deeply in our business. So we're in a very high CapEx cycle right now to enable us to be ready for that growth. And our job with you is to then share as transparently as we possibly can what that opportunity looks like so that you gain conviction to invest with us. And that's why these interactions are really important to me, so that we can keep each other close enough that we can win together.
To your point, it's both utilizing the resources we have today and then that investment for tomorrow.
It doesn't have to be that different than the transparency you have with your aerospace business. And you and I have had these conversations. We can shift towards a more strategic relationship with different, even commercial envelopes on how we work together, because we can see so much further into the future, more aerospace-like backlog in duration that should give us both more optionality to be more creative and to find more win-win solutions that get beyond what at times, because of the situation we were in a more transactional relationship.
Right.
Because when we can't see more than 24 months into the future, hard to do a lot more with you beyond that.
Right.
But we're past that point.
Right. Yeah, that certainty, that outlook, and to your point, that's where what we've had historically with our aerospace customers, but very similar needs from your engines. You're driving efficiencies, you're driving higher temperatures, and now you've got that certainty of demand.
Yes.
And we can say, okay, we want to serve your needs today, and we want to help develop where you're going for tomorrow.
And I think and your support there will be critical. Kim, on your side, you big aerospace, big defense player. Energy is a smaller piece of the equation.
Just today, no, just today.
Today, and that's my goal. I said that to you multiple times.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll get to level, but to close the gap in our own way, and I think we actually will close the gap. But where does this fit in the equation for you?
It's a great target. It's a priority, which is why I'm here talking to you today. But it's adjacent to where our growth has been historically around aerospace and defense. You mentioned a lot of the technologies are similar and adjacent to that. The needs you have around longer life, higher temperatures for better efficiency, more power output, all of those things that you're trying to develop are things that our team are focused on around the materials and how are we providing you the best materials so that you can power the world, but do it even better tomorrow than you're doing it today. And that's where I'm super excited, one, about your outlook from a company, because you guys are such leaders in this space and you are innovating, and that's where strengths are. That's where we really excel, is around innovating. And how do we look at this and do it better, faster, cheaper, more widespread, so that you can get those products out to the customers. And yes, we've been focused on aerospace and defense, but you're changing your markets. They're not 18 to 24 months anymore, and you've got that certainty of demand. Which allows us to make long-term investments around where's the next breakthrough coming? It's not always something that you anticipate or you see right in front of you, but we want to work together transparently with that trust of sharing information. And we're going to discover something that next decade, they're going to look back at this video and say, those two didn't know about this, but it changed this whole industry. And that's my goal.
I'm in.
I know another area, even maybe further out past the gas turbines is the nuclear renaissance. And there's, recent support from the U.S. administration, but this is a global phenomenon where people are reinvesting and restarting. So how are you thinking about that? And I know we're helping to support that as well.
You have been and are going to play an even bigger role from here. I mean, there's a multi-step process happening right now, and where your team is already helping us is we do see growth opportunities with upgrades of existing plants that then is pressuring our supply chain that you're already leaning in to help us. And that's not small. There's, again, in gigawatts, 5 gigawatts of incremental electrons we'll create in the U.S. by the end of the decade by just upgrading existing plants, okay? But then at the end of the day, if I think back to a COP event where I was sitting in a room with a number of heads of state observing their meeting, they talked about tripling the nuclear capacity in the world between now and 2050. And that is what the world needs. We're about to go into a real investment at scale. It is important because it's zero carbon baseload power. It tends to be more expensive power than natural gas. But our customers need to balance two things: dollar cost averaging the cost of their electricity with the carbon intensity of their electricity. And those two things complement each other in that way. So I would expect the order book for nuclear to become very material in 2026. The cycle time is longer, to your point. But we've made a commitment to this administration, to many other countries in the world, that by the beginning of the next decade, there are a lot of new nuclear electrons that will be created, and it can become a pretty sizable business for both of us.
What do you see as critical from your suppliers, and maybe even specifically from ATI?
This growth is real. The country and the world needs it. I hope we ask a lot of you. And I'd rather that we ask so much of you that, you struggle to quite get there, but then we stay close together, then, we don't get close enough together that we can be really optimistic and ambitious with what we can accomplish. And then we just easily accomplish things, but then we don't meet our potential.
Right.
And what we're talking about inside Vernova right now is not to celebrate our improved financials, but to meet our potential. And those are two very different things. And we need closer partnerships throughout the value chain to have any prayer at meeting our potential. And ATI plays a really important role with that.
Is there anything that you want to make sure that our ATI employees hear from you or understand about what your needs or Vernova's needs are?
Well, with real humility, we appreciate what your organization, your teams are doing every day. There is a lot of growth that can come, and it'll only happen together. We appreciate the relationship that we're building here. We want it to be a different relationship tomorrow than it was yesterday, because we have a market that we can hold a different bar to how we interact together. Ultimately, we talk about electrifying the world to drive prosperity, for communities to thrive, to decarbonize the world. There's a lot to be proud of with what your teams work on here for electrifying the world, and I want you all to feel that way.
That's just terrific. And you use the word partner. That's how we think about our relationship between ATI and Vernova. And really for us and for me, the foundation of that is that trust, is that relationship. Because if we're pushing ourselves, everything won't go exactly the way we planned it. And we're going to find and learn together. But if we've got the trust that we're both bringing our best resources and capabilities, we're going to figure it out.
I agree. I'm motivated by all that, and I think the art of the possible is great. Thanks for this discussion together.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for the partnership.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.